Welcome to Against All Odds, a program that is dedicated at making sure that we showcase real life stories from people within our communities who've gone through misfortunes and obviously tragedies. And of course, they come out as survivors at the end of the day. Today, joining us on the show is someone who is very popular, and you definitely know her. Her name is Felistus Murata, also known as Mai TT. Felistus, thank you so much for joining us. I'll refer to you as Mai TT as people know you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming through right here on Against All Odds. Now, as an individual, you faced quite a number of misfortunes, tragedies that you've gone through.
Yeah.
There are so many, but we want to start off by knowing who you are, what you do. People know you from social media. They might know you from Facebook, Instagram, and things like that. What's your job description? What's your profession?
Okay. The real name is Felistus Murata. I'm 36, a mom of two, a businesswoman, a musician, a comedian. So I'm not sure about the job description. I'm an all-rounder. Literally, I do everything and anything. Yeah.
Anything. All right. Now, coming through, there's so many things that we can talk about when it comes to Mai TT. A lot comes to mind. I'm just going to take you back to your history as a child. How was it growing up for you? Did you experience a great childhood, or you felt like there were certain things that were misplaced and wish could have been different?
Okay, I come from a Christian background. My parents are pastors, and I've got 4 siblings. That makes us the 5 of us, and I can't complain about my childhood. Though it was strict, you know, when your parents are Christians, there's certain things that they won't allow us to do, and we will be wanting to do them. But I can't complain about my childhood. I'm privileged because both my parents are alive, and I can't say we lacked anything. I had everything that I needed when I was growing up.
Very interesting. Pastors, that's interesting. I would have never thought that's how it is.
I know, right?
But, okay, have you always wanted to be? I mean, are you a Christian? Let's start off with that.
Yes.
You're a Christian.
I'm a strong Christian.
A very strong Christian.
Oh, yeah.
People may think otherwise.
I know.
So growing up, you've or grown in Christianity, it's something that you still relate to this day?
Of course.
All right. Now,
Yes.
I want to move forward because I want to take a look at the misfortunes that you've gone through as an individual.
Yeah.
You know, when was your first marriage? When did you start dating and saying, you know, I'm now dating to get married? When was this?
Okay, I started dating when I was 17, and then into 18, I got pregnant soon after I wrote my O's. Then I had my first child, Felicia. And then, you know, I was still very young, and I knew literally nothing about marriages and stuff. I was not so keen to be a housewife, you know, because when I was growing up, I was very intelligent in school. So my parents wanted me to be a lawyer. So we were focusing more on that. So it really broke their hearts to find out that I was pregnant, because they wanted me to pursue my studies. I was very intelligent, very, very intelligent. So I then got pregnant, and I started staying with a guy, but it didn't work out because, like I said, I was young and I wanted to explore more. So I was not really interested into being a housewife. I ended up going back to my parents' house. Then I stayed there for a while. Then I got married again when I was 23.
All right.
21.
21. So let me just take you back a little bit. You said 19. That's when you got pregnant. 18.
Yes.
19, you moved in with the guy?
18, I got pregnant. I moved in with him. Then I moved out when I was 19.
You moved out when you were 19?
I think we stayed together for a year or so, a year and a half.
And then 21?
Then at 21, yes.
That's when you decided you're getting married again?
Yeah, I started dating at 20. Then we got married when I was 21, if I'm not mistaken.
That was... I don't know, should you say it's your second marriage or your first official marriage?
Yeah, because the first one, I got pregnant, and then they paid the whatever, what you call it, damages and whatnot, the Shona things.
Yes.
The cultural things, they did that. And then, so I might as well call it a customary.
A customary marriage?
Yes.
So then, at 21, you now in your second marriage?
At 21, I started dating, then I got married customarily, then I had a white wedding.
Oh.
Yeah, an official wedding. So I moved in with my husband, and we started staying together. Yeah.
How long were you married for this, the official, what we call the white wedding?
Is it 5-6 years?
And in that marriage, was it a good marriage?
It started off as a good marriage, a perfect marriage, the best marriage, because the guy really loved me. I remember we had challenges with my mother-in-law. She never really wanted him to marry me because, in our culture, a boy can't marry a woman who's got a child already. So he didn't have a child then. It was his first with me. So the mother thought, oh no, you can't marry this lady. She's got a child, imvana, like what they call it. So I faced so many challenges because the mom didn't like me for that fact that I had my baby. I came in with my baby already, but the guy fought. So to me, it was love because he really fought because she didn't want to see me, but he was like, this is the woman that I want to marry, and he married me against all odds. It was not easy, but he took that bold step and he married me and he wedded me, and they were there at the wedding, but it was not easy. So the marriage was not easy, not from him, from the background people, but with him we were okay. But we kept getting this kind of attacks from all over, and then we started fighting on our own. Yeah.
All right. So with this marriage, this was your second marriage, if you would actually say so.
Yeah.
And then you started getting attacks and things started going haywire.
Yes.
Would you fight often?
First of all, I was a very good murora. I used to be very quiet and very decent. I didn't know nothing about anything. I was very polite because of the way I was raised. I was raised properly. I was very respectful. But then that marriage changed me into something else.
What did it change
because
you
of
into?
The abuse. I was abused too much. The mother-in-law thing whereby you are trying to explain something and they'll just brush you off and say, oh, so what? And it was just something. It was terrible for me. Then later on, he started cheating and we started fighting. And then later on, I found out that I was infected with HIV and it got worse. So I was traumatized later on in the marriage. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we are talking to Mai TT, and this is where it's about to get interesting as she actually gets to share her story, her misfortunes, her tragedies that she actually got to face during her marriage, which was the second one. And of course, we'll be right back right after the break to talk more about what happened to her at this particular time. It is Against All Odds right here. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us and want to share your story, you can get to do so and contact us with the numbers that are appearing on your screen. Welcome back to Against All Odds, and we are talking to Mai TT, also known as Felistus, as she gets to share her story with us. Now, she just told us of what happened to her when she was a teenager, growing up great in her family, of course, and then unfortunately or fortunately, she actually, did get into 2 different marriages, and the second one was where everything changed for her because she said she changed. That's when the change actually happened. Now, Mai TT, you're married to this person. It's your second marriage. It was beautiful in the beginning. Love, and love was blossoming, obviously.
It was.
And then all of a sudden, he started changing because obviously there were different attacks that were coming through from different angles. He then started cheating, and then you guys started fighting, and then you found out you were infected with HIV at this particular time.
Yes.
How did you find out that I'm HIV positive?
Okay, then my daughter was my second daughter was now 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. So this other night I got a terrible headache and we didn't sleep because it was really that bad. So we woke up and went to see our doctor. And then the doctor asked, when was the last time did you guys get tested? Did you get tested? I said, when I was pregnant, the last time before I delivered, and I was okay. So then he said, I would advise you go and get tested again. I said, why? Then I noticed when something is going on, but he didn't want to mention it because he was holding here. You know how it is with doctors, you don't know what he's feeling. So he just said, I advise you go again for what?
For tests.
For tests. And then my husband was there with me. Then we went back home, but I could already notice that there are changes. He became very quiet, unusual. Then when we went to bed, he started telling me, you know, I just want to tell you, if you are going to find out anything, I'm there for you. You know, I started suspecting already before I even went for the test. I'm like, why are you talking about all this? He started telling me of some random girl he met, and, you know, they had unprotected sex and blah, blah, blah. But he didn't confess that, okay, so then that's when I got or whatever. So then the next morning I woke up, I said, no, I need to go for testing according to the doctor. So I went to New Start Center in the CBD, and then I got there, I got tested, and later on they called me for the results. And then I sat down, the counselor started saying, what are you going to do if you find out that you are positive and whatnot? And then I was like, I don't know, because I don't know if I'm positive or not, so I wouldn't know what I'm going to do about it. So then that's when they broke the news to me, like, okay, it's so unfortunate that you have got HIV, and it is what it is. So from there, I lost it. I lost control of myself. I couldn't believe it, because I knew then, okay, this is what this person was trying to tell me yesterday, but he couldn't. So
what was the feeling that you had? I mean, I'm trying to picture, you know, your husband trying to hint something, and then you find out that you're HIV positive, something he could have told you. What was the feeling?
I can't explain it, because it's like I went mad for a while. That time I was not myself. I screamed, I cried, I yelled, I called my mom. I remember calling my mom and saying, Mommy, I'm dead. And you know, my mom is also a drama queen. She's like, where did you die from? I'm like, I'm right here in town. It was just crazy. I was calling everybody, I was screaming, and they tried to hold me down, to calm me down. And then eventually, they said, where is your husband? I called him. I said, okay, so you have killed me. You've literally just killed me. And you know, he was so calm about it. It's not like he was shocked. Then he came through to pick me up. Then he picked me up, and then we went home. And then when we got there and we broke the news to the mom, and you know, the mother-in-law who never liked me, she's like, you are the cause. And then he was even more crazier. You are the cause, you came here with your child, blah, 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 you know. But my husband was very calm about it. He even wrote me a letter. I kept that letter for the longest time. If I am to look for it, I think I still have it. He wrote a letter, I think, 2 days after, because we couldn't talk, we couldn't do nothing. I was just not myself. And he wrote a letter apologizing and saying he was sorry, and you know, all that.
Okay, now you found out that you're HIV positive. How long had he been HIV positive and you didn't know?
I don't know.
And also, was he on meds and you were not?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You never bothered to find out?
No, I don't know, because he had lied to me already, so I didn't need to find out when or how or whatever. It was just all about me now trying to map a way forward. What am I going to do? And then I think after that, that's when I went to, is it Wilkins? I don't remember the first hospital I went. I don't remember. For, you know, to be given those drugs and whatnot, the counselings, and getting into the groups. You know, there are groups of HIV, people living with HIV. Yeah. Okay.
So, I want to ask, was this the breakdown of your marriage? Was this the final straw for you to say, he's cheated on me, he's infected me with HIV, and now it's time for me to move on? I cannot take this anymore.
No, I couldn't move on, because even my parents were like, if you move on, where do you want to go? It is what it is now. You gotta stay with him, because who's gonna take care of you if you are in this condition? Because back then, you know, people used to die. It was like, I don't know, people were not that educated like it is now. You know, that time when you hear you are HIV positive, it's like, it's the end of me. So everybody thought it was the end of me then. So people didn't want anything to do with me. Imagine people, they were thinking maybe I'm going to fall sick, you know how the whole process of sick and you messing yourself up, and people changing you diapers and their head falling out and all that. It was just imaginary. So nobody wanted to associate with me after that. So I faced a lot of rejection. Then I still stayed with him because he didn't say it's over, but the marriage was not the same anymore, because now there was a lot of tension, a lot of pain. And each time I looked at him, I would just feel like, okay, this guy really did me wrong. We're fighting. I just turned into something else. I turned into this woman who was so angry. I was very angry, and I was just so bitter about anything and everything.
All right. Well, there we have Mai TT explaining to us what actually happened to her and how she actually found out that she was HIV positive. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to get to look at, the rest of her story and how she's still a believer of love, even going through all this at the end of the day. I mean, just imagine if you were in her shoes. This is Against All Odds, and we'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to Against All Odds, and of course we do have Mai TT, who is our guest today, as she has been telling us her story. Now we get to continue with her story. Recently she was just explaining to us how she actually found out that she was HIV positive, and obviously the rejection that she actually faced. Now Mai TT, your marriage had broken down. You then got to a point where you walked away from this marriage, I'm sure. Is there a time when you said, I don't want anything to do with love, I just want to be by myself and focus on me?
Yes, soon after that marriage, I stayed for a while whilst I was single. And life was really difficult for me that time with my 2 kids now. Trying to being the breadwinner, provide for my kids, because then the dads didn't really care about them. And I would fight for maintenance, going to courts and all the dramas with the current wives, and So I said, I think for 2 or 3 years without anybody, just fending for my kids and trying to get a life by myself.
All right, now I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. After, being in this particular marriage, you then decided after 2 years or so, it's time for me to get back into the dating pool and find out what is there. How many, should I say, relationships did you go through after your second marriage?
I think 4.
All right. Out of those 4, how many were marriages? How many ended up being, something whereby you say, this is my partner?
I think it's just one.
Is it one, Mai TT?
Okay, because then when I started dating, there was this white guy from England who came, and then he really wanted to settle. Okay. The first one, that one is not known, because that time I wasn't on Facebook that much. I wasn't popular. I was just me. So he traveled all the way from the UK to see me. Then he said he wanted to marry me. He wanted to settle down, but I have to go back to England with him, but without the kids.
And you were not happy about that.
After God comes my kids. I don't care whether you're a millionaire, whether you're what. As long as you say you don't like my kids, you can just vanish.
So we scratched that one?
So I scratched that one. I was like, no, if you can't be with me and my kids, so I'm sorry. We can't. Okay. So that was then. Then I dated this guy. Then we engaged, if I'm not mistaken. Then we fell out. Then I got another one.
Third.
And then I think we engaged, and then we fell out. And then I got another one.
The fourth one?
We didn't engage. We fell out. Okay. I found out that he was cheating also. Then the other one, we engaged. Then I got married customarily. Then we had a white wedding.
Is this the previous one, the last
That's
one?
The previous
so in total, it's been 5.
It's been 5.
You're lucky in love. How is this possible?
That no, I don't think I'm lucky. I just think I'm a victim. I've got people, then I don't know. I think people take advantage of my heart because they know this woman, I'm vulnerable as much as I appear to be a tough person. And I think these men actually see, some of them have sat down to say, this woman, she wants to be in love. What can we do? But they won't be in love. I think they're just there to benefit what they can benefit.
From you.
Yeah, what they can from me. That's what I've discovered. That at the end of the day, is these people don't love me. They just want to benefit from me, because as soon as they do, they benefit whatever they do, then they leave, or they just do something that is funny.
All right. When I look at you, I see a survivor. That's what I'm looking at right now. When I look at you, I see the softness that is in you. But someone who sees you on social media will think, she's loud, she seems bitter, she seems angry, she seems to lash out at everyone. Now, we want to look at that aspect of you. Are you a survivor?
Yes.
Of what, people will ask?
I'm a survivor of abuse. I'm a survivor of a lot of things. I'm a survivor of bullying. I get bullied, but what happens with me is I stand for myself. I'm not that person who would just sit and watch people run me over. I've been bullied almost in my marriage. That is what changed me to be who I am today. Because that time when I was in my marriage, I would be beaten and I won't clap back. I would give him the left cheek and whatnot, but not now. Now I don't tolerate that. I'm that woman who can't stand abuse or whatever. And I don't just lash out without being lashed out at first. I just retaliate. So people mistake me for just being violent. They need to know the root cause. If I'm with you, we are good. But if you do something to me, I will retaliate. And my retaliation is always stronger. People forget who started the war. Because you are the one, you can start it in a calm way, but I'll give it to you back to back. So people, I think they misunderstand me. They think I'm violent, I'm this. But me, I'm one calm person. Some people are like, oh, we feel for the kids. My kids don't even know that I'm like this, because I'm that calm mom, that cool mom. They don't even know. They know I'm not loud. Like the way I am on social media. And when it comes to social media, if you're not strong, you will die. It's survival of the fittest. So I'm just trying to survive. I won't tolerate any kind of bullying or abuse on social media.
Do you still believe in love?
Yes.
After this is 7 guys later. Come on. You still believe in love?
There is love out there. Yeah, there is love out there.
This is where I look at you as a survivor. If I was in your shoes, I'm thinking, you've been through all this. I would have given up by now. And this is where I see you coming through as a survivor. Now, I want to commend you for taking the right steps in making sure that, you live with HIV and you also become a pillar of strength to other people who have gone through a similar situation. How is it like? People might think, oh, well, how does she manage to stay afloat when it comes to her taking her medication each and every day? It mustn't be easy, if I'm not mistaken.
To me, it's very easy. I take my medication anyway, anytime. People know, even at the function, my time for taking my meds is 8 o'clock. If 8 o'clock we gakwana, ndiri pa party or pamchato, I'll make sure I take out my pills and I drink them. I don't need to hide them. I'm that open person. I'm an activist now for people living with HIV. So I teach people to be honest enough to say, no, this is who I am. This is how I'm living my life. I'm not ashamed and I'm not even shy. Even all these partners of mine, before saying yes, they will be the first thing that I tell you, I can see you like me, but do you know that I'm HIV positive? Because I don't want to end up, what's the word for it? Transferring it to a person, deliberate transferring it to someone without them knowing. I need to tell them first. And if you agree, then we can date.
All right, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we want to say thank you so much for coming through right here on Against All Odds. I should say that your story is very inspiring because it shows that you are a survivor in this jungle where things can be unfair. You are coming out and saying, no, I'm not going to let anything deter me.
Oh, yes.
So I do see the survivor in you. You are no longer a victim. You are a survivor, Mai TT. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And this is Against All Odds. Now you've heard the story coming through there from Felistus, also known as Mai TT on social media. She's explained to us, from her first marriage all the way to the last one, still believing in love and coming through as a survivor and an advocate for those with HIV. And we're so excited to have her right here on Against All Odds. My name is Rachel Mwenyeheli. It's been exciting. Definitely we'll be back again with you as we get to share the journey of those who go through tragedies, misfortunes, and coming out as survivors.